Hello again, everybody. This is Steve Kallas, speaking of sports, and we're here to talk about the second game in the college football Final Four to be played Saturday, December 28th. This game will be on ESPN at 8 o'clock. It's out in Glendale, Arizona. It's the Fiesta Bowl between 13-0 Clemson and 13-0 Ohio State. Now, Clemson has become a 2-point favorite, which I find interesting. Clemson has not lost a game in 2 years. They have Trevor Lawrence, their superstar quarterback, who has never lost a college game. But to me, they really didn't beat anybody this year. They didn't. Look, you can only play who's on your schedule, but the ACC was pretty weak this year. They did not beat a top 20 team all year. They haven't really been tested. Now, you can say they have championship experience from last year, and you'd be right. But I think Ohio State is a little tougher, a little more battle-tested this year. I'm going to read you some stats from Ohio State as well, but you know the star of their team is actually a defensive player, Chase Young, who might very well be the defensive player of the year. 16.5 sacks in 11 games. And look, Ohio State beat Penn State. They beat Michigan. They beat Wisconsin twice. These are all top teams, so they have 4 wins against top 10 or 15 teams in the country. And frankly, Clemson has no wins like that. So I understand it's the experience of Clemson going back to last year. Coach Sweeney is a top coach with 2 national championships. Coach Day is a young coach for Ohio State. I get all that. I'm still leaning towards Ohio State. And again, we'll go over some of the stats. But let me give you Clemson first. Trevor Lawrence, everybody knows how good he is. He's only been sacked 12 times all year. And when Coach Sweeney talked about the game, he said, our offensive line is our strongest part of our team. Ohio State's defensive line, with Chase Young rushing the quarterback, is their strongest part of their team. So he really views the battle of the trenches, which you always hear coaches talk about, between his offensive line and Ohio State's defensive line to be the key to the game. We'll see what happens there. I want to give you a few more stats, though. Clemson star running back Travis Etienne, 1,500 rushing yards, 17 TDs. He's averaging 8.2 yards per rush. I mean, again, that's a video game number. T. Higgins, one of the top receivers in the country, 52 receptions, 13 of which were for 2 touchdowns. I mean, that just doesn't happen. 1,082 yards receiving. They're a top team and a top offense. And although Trevor Lawrence with 3,172 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, he was getting roundly criticized early on for throwing 8 interceptions or throwing interceptions earlier in the year, but in his last 6 games, 20 touchdowns, no interceptions. Again, video game numbers. On defense, I think the guy to look at for Clemson is linebacker Isaiah Simmons, 93 tackles, led the team with 7 sacks, also played in last year's championship Final Four where they won the championship. So don't discount Clemson's ability. They got a bunch of guys who were national champions last year, so I know that means a lot. But again, this specific team has not been battle-tested this year. So I'm leaning towards Ohio State. I'm going to give you some Ohio State numbers in addition to Chase Young. Justin Fields, you must know about, the transfer quarterback. He's got a knee injury. He said he's 85% 2 days before the game. Again, at that media day they had today, he threw 40 touchdowns and 1 interception. I mean, I don't know anybody in the history of anything, anywhere in the college or the pros, who threw 40 touchdown passes and 1 interception. It's almost hard to believe. And J.K. Dobbins, one of the leading rushers in the country, 1,829 rushing yards. Dobbins was a finalist for the Doak Walker Award. You probably know that's for the best running back in the country. So he's probably one of the 3 best running backs in the country. 1,829 yards in 13 games. That's pretty incredible. They also have defensively Jeff Okudah, who's a top cornerback. Malik Harrison might very well be a linebacker All-America. And that's in addition to Chase Young. So I think Ohio State's defense is better. I think Ohio State has been battle-tested more, and I understand Trevor Lawrence could have been in the NFL last year, many people said, and he's back for his second year and he hasn't lost a game. But I'm still leaning towards Ohio State. Again, they're more battle-tested, and I think they pull out a close victory. This is Steve Kallas, speaking of sports. We'll see you the next time.